Hello. In the last few days, we've been talking about how we can make 2024 the best year of our life, and also about how to increase our wealth and become financially free. And yesterday, we've been talking also about one aspect of marketing that is very, very interesting. And this evening, today, we will speak about part 2 in just a few minutes. So here are just a few slides that I've shared with you. Our goal is to help our members thrive beyond limits. And yes, we do have limits. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's time, sometimes it's resources, sometimes it's the right people, but there is a way to be able to thrive beyond all these limits. And especially if we work together, we can do a lot more than working apart. So in one of the first thing I believe that it is important is to discover our aha. We need to discover our gifts, our talents, or an idea that it is for us. It is almost ideally when we are mission driven. And these aha moments that we have in our lives are usually an invitation for something more. So I've challenged our members to really sit down a couple of hours and write down the aha moments they had in their lives, and to see those invitations for more. And many times we can find something special. And this Thursday, we will go a lot deeper in this subject. But right after we discover our ahas, we need to take massive action. Without massive action, not much is happening. It is good to have a brilliant idea, but more than a brilliant idea, we have to take massive action. Then, of course, we need to build a community of people who believe in what we do, who encourage us, people who we can learn from in our inner circle. And if we do these 3 steps, I believe we have a good chance to thrive beyond limits. Now, I've shared about some of my favorite books on marketing. And one of the authors that I really, really like is Seth Godin. And one of his books is The Purple Cow. Excuse me just a moment. You okay to talk or? The Purple Cow, it is an interesting book because it highlights the idea that we need to have an idea that is different in order to be attractive. So it is important to identify in our business the purple cow, but more than the purple cow, more than this, there are many, many aspects in marketing that we need to address. And this is an interesting map. I think it is a map similar with the subway in London. But these are actually different areas of marketing. And it can be overwhelming, especially for an entrepreneur who is in the beginning, to have to address all these areas. And I know firsthand, because I tried to cover a lot of these areas, and I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars developing different assets in the marketing. Here is another interesting look at marketing, from PR to design to content to advertising, direct marketing, relationships, identity, and so forth. So marketing can be complicated and can be overwhelming and can be really, really expensive. There are, of course, a lot of great marketers and great marketing companies, and usually they are very, very expensive. As I said, I know firsthand because I've worked with some, and they gave us a lot of assets. One of the companies gave me over 100 slides in a PowerPoint presentation, just analyzing what we do and challenging us to make decisions in the slogans that we are going to have and in quite a few of other areas. I also have done quite a few events, some small, some really, really big. And we've spent a lot of money and we've learned a lot. And I have to admit that we did not have the results that we were expecting when we did some of these events. In one of these events, we even projected on Burj Khalifa in Dubai, our brand, and with others that we were involved with. But what I have discovered is that there is a much better way, especially for a startup, especially if it is a tech startup, it's even better. I really like this book by Ryan Holiday, Growth Hacker Marketing. And growth hacking marketing, it is actually, it is a subfield of marketing. And I would really challenge you to study growth hacking marketing, because it is very interesting. And here is why it is interesting. It is focused on customer acquisition. And especially as a startup, you want to get to customers as soon as possible. As soon as you have an MVP, you want to get to customers, right? It is focused on a provable return on the investment. It is low cost. It requires very few resources. But this evening, I would like to speak a little bit more about a book that I've read recently about sales. Now, even if you are not in sales, I do recommend for you to read this book. It is one of the best books that I've read. And even as a parent, you are in sales, right? When you negotiate with your kids to clean up their room or do whatever and go to bed, or you are in sales, you are selling something. Even in husband and wife relationship, you are in sales in a certain degree. Even for entrepreneurs, to learn the skill of sales, it's paramount. It's really, really important. So I found this book. I very, very much enjoyed it. And let me share with you just two quotes that I found online about this book. I have read almost every book that has ever been written on salesmanship. But I think Og Mandino has captured all of them in The Greatest Salesman in the World. No one who follows these principles will ever fail as a salesman, and no one will ever be truly great without them. But the author has done more than present the principles. He has woven them into the fabric of one of the most fascinating stories that I have ever read, says Paul Mayer, who is president of Success Motivation Institute. And here is one more quote. I was overwhelmed by the greatest salesman in the world. It is without doubt the greatest and the most touching story I have ever read. It is so good that there are two musts that I would attach to it. First, you must not lay it down until you have finished it. And secondly, every individual who sells anything, and that includes us all, must read it, says Robert Hensley, president of Life Insurance of Kentucky. So here at the end of this quote, it says, every individual who sells anything, and that includes all of us, must read it. So I highly recommend to read this book. It's really, really good. And if there is one skill that you could develop in 2024, grow in 2024, it can be sales. And I'm sure you would not regret it. And I think, as I shared before, even if we grow 1% daily in some aspects of our lives, at the end of the year, after we grew 1% every day, it comes to 37 times better. So in the area of sales, it will be good to have some growth. I personally want to grow, and I personally will apply a lot of things that I've read in this book. And I will share with our community more about the personal application that I'm making from this book. Now, how do we growth hack? The step number one is a product market fit. So it is important as soon as possible after we have our minimum viable product to make sure that what we have, it is requested by our customers. They love it. They are ready to purchase it. And that's why it is important as soon as possible to put the MVP out there, and then to get feedback from the community, make the adjustments, and get to the MVP to the point where you have the product market fit. But then strategy number two is to find specific hacks. And I shared also last night, for example, Dropbox, they gave in the beginning, I believe, 500 megabytes for every person that is invited by someone. And it will give you 500 and will give 500 to the person who was invited. And I invited everybody from my mailing list, and I gained a lot of gigabytes in Dropbox for life. And it was a growth hack. They got to tens of millions of users through this just simple technique. You can imagine it did not cost them hardly anything to implement this technique, this growth hack. And Dropbox grew a lot. So what are the specific hacks that you can implement so that you will grow? For us, for example, one of the hacks we are implementing in Multipliers Club, we are offering 66% as an affiliate commission to anybody who invites other members. And so we give up a lot of the revenue, 66%, because we do want our members to invite other members. So this is just one example of what we do. Now, if one member invites two, if from one we get two, that is already exponential growth. Now, we will not base our growth not only on one hack, on one technique, but it is just one example of something very, very specific that we do. Step number three, what I've just shared, turn 1 in 2, 2 in 4, 4 in 8, or in some other marketing terms, go viral. And yes, if there is any way in your business to make one paying customers to bring another two, that will become then exponential for sure. But of course, it's not possible with every single product and service, of course. And so it depends on what you do. You have to find your specific way to make your product or service go viral. Now, You have two options. I'm sharing all these ideas, the things that we do, and I really think that they have a really good chance to help you, especially reading the resources, the books that I mentioned. These are some of the books that I am learning from. And you have the option of doing it by yourself, or you have the option of joining us and for us to work together. In our multipliers club, we have 4 easy steps to get to growth, to being financially free. The first one, X factor, is becoming a club member. The second one, we do want to, after we identify the X factor, which is the idea, whatever you want to grow, then we need to grow it. And we have different types of growth hacks that we are implementing. Then, of course, you need to increase your community. And we encourage each one of our members to develop their own club, basically. So at least 10 people, but we want also to have members who will develop multipliers club in their own countries. We believe that we can have 1% of the global population in the club. So 1% of your country, wherever you are, I do think it will be a really, really good fit, huge benefit for everyone to be part of the multipliers club. And after we increase our community, we definitely are getting closer to become financially free. Now, this is a very high level overview, and we want to go into a lot more details together. Multipliers Club is more than a product. It is a lifestyle. Yes, it is a product because, as I said before, those who become members are automatically, they have a link and they can share our offer with their friends, with their community, and they get 66%. So it can become a really good income, of course, depending on how many people will join. But as I said, it's more than a product. It is a lifestyle. We want you to be a multiplier of resources, but a multiplier of multipliers. And those are the leaders. The leaders are probably 2 or 3% of the population usually, but the leaders are those who are growing other leaders. So you can be a multiplier of multipliers. Now, as I said in the beginning, our goal is to thrive beyond limits. And whatever limits you are experiencing, especially when we work together in the club, it's a lot easier to overcome those limits and to get to the point of thriving. Now, I would like to invite you this Thursday, January 18 at 5 p.m. UK time to join us into a free webinar. It will be approximately 1 hour, and in this 1 hour, we will go a lot deeper into the 4 areas that we have in the Multipliers Club: X Factor, X Growth, X Community, and X Impact. And I'm sure you will learn a lot. I will share a lot more things Thursday, and it will be great if you can invite 1 or 2 friends at home or somewhere in a coffee shop and watch the webinar together, and then discuss the 4 axes and see how you can apply some of the things that you will learn in this webinar. I'm sure it will be a good investment of your time, especially if you spend a bit of time afterwards and apply it. We live in a day and an age where we are bombarded by a lot of information. And it's really important, the information that we get, to process it and to really find what we need to apply. Thank you so much, and I'll leave you now with 1 more minute of a video where we have our manifesto. Thank you.
Opportunities are everywhere. There are no more boundaries. All that you need is around you. Imagine the grand possibilities. We dare to be different, determined, passionate. We are thinking big, unique souls, unstoppable. We are intense, brave, spiritual, courageous. We make our dreams a reality. We empower multipliers. We build brave communities. Love shines through everything we do. We unlock the potential in others. We never settle for, "It's not possible." We push boundaries. We are change agents. We grow every day. We transform ideas into reality. We make the world a better place. It does not matter if it is cold, hot, dark. We create the future and bring hope to millions. We are not giving up. We make the impossible possible. We push through fears and weaknesses. We are the mass movement of people. We are the multipliers.